How's it going, traders? In this video, I'm going to show you my TradingView settings for supply and demand trading. It's going to be kind of a quick video, so hopefully this is helpful to you guys. First things first, I do have the 4-chart layout with the weekly, daily, 4-hour, and 1-hour. That is just what I prefer. You can use one chart. I personally prefer more of a 4-chart layout. I think it's a lot easier to see what's going on. You can see the trends just by, you click a different pair, and then you can see the trends and everything on all the time frames, and you can customize it the way you like it. And in order to get the 4-chart layout, you will need to subscribe to be a Pro Plus member right here. As you can see, it gives you the option to have that 4-chart layout. If not, if you're just a Pro member, you can still get 2 charts in one window, so it's not that bad if you prefer that. But me personally, I prefer the 4-chart layout. And my settings for the 4-chart layout are right here. So as you can see right here, I have the 4-chart layout clicked, and then I am syncing, because this is syncing it right here. I have the symbol and then the crosshair, which means that the symbol will be the same for each chart that I have, and then the crosshair will also sync with it as well. And that is the settings I have for my 4-chart layout. If you look here, next is my trading toolbar. Let me just open up a chart here to be a little more clean. So these are all the settings that I have. I'll just go over them quickly. First one I have is just the rectangle tool. This one is the Fibonacci extension tool that I use to draw all my zones like this. Then I have the very important trend line tool, and then I have my risk to reward tool long, risk to reward tool short. I have an up arrow and a down arrow. That is more for the Patreon and YouTube members, so I can track the trend. This is just a circle button that's not very important. It's more for just showing analysis and stuff like that. This is an arrow button, not very important. And this is a price line that I've customized to track retail sentiment. So something like this. That price line tool is actually this stuff right here that you see where it says what retail positioning is doing. 70% long, 82% long. That is that tool, but not too much important stuff there. And we can actually go over all of the settings. So for the first one, the rectangle box, I use this tool, and a lot of the people, they'll just use the rectangle box. They'll just do something like this, and they'll draw out their zones like this. I don't like to do that. I like to use the Fibonacci tool to do that, but my settings for this, if you go here, click on template, I have removed, because I use it for when a zone is removed. So as you can see, this supply zone right here is still in play because it has not been removed yet over here. But once this is removed, I'll pull up my rectangle tool and do that, and then it'll look something like this. So that is essentially all I really use it for. I also will use it for a day trade zone like that. So yeah, that's what I use that tool for. And the next is one of the most important ones is the Fibonacci extension tool. As you can see, I use that to draw my zones. I have my demand zones in green and my supply zones in red. I will show you my settings really quickly. These are the settings. If you want to be able to draw the zone like that, just copy these settings. I'm not going to go over it too much. Extend lines right, 0, check mark, red, use one color, red. Just copy these settings and you should get it. I have prices here, and then you can just save it as a template. At the bottom here you can see buyers and sellers. Just keeps it very, very simple. You can change it, supply, demand, it's up to you. I just have it labeled like that. The next tool that I use is the trend line tool, and that's what I simply use for a trend line. Nothing crazy at all. Really nothing to see here. I do have one other template for that. What I will use it for is to be alerted like this. So then I make my line, I go to alert, and then I simply click create alert. So then if we make a new high, I know we will be on an uptrend, and that is how I get alerted for a new trend taking place. Let's see here. Then I have my risk to reward tool long right here. So if I really want to quickly put a risk to reward tool, that's great. And then I also have the same one, but just for short, like this. So that's nice to have those two things ready and available. And then, we have the up arrow and then the down arrow. That's just for tracking trend, and that's for the Patreon and YouTube membership, where I track all of these zones for them, and I track the trend as well using that. So definitely check that out. Links in the description if you want that. You get all my zones, trends, all that stuff. This is a circle tool. I will just circle that to circle significant areas. Nothing very important. that's just a line, no big deal. And that's pretty much my favorites toolbar. And like I said, definitely create your own templates and keep it all organized, right? So if you look at right here, if I right click template, buyers, sellers, it's very, very, organized, and it keeps everything kind of very simple. Next, we'll go over my watch list over here on the right. This is just my main watch list here. And if you look, you can add it in sections here. So right here, I have majors, and how you do that is, let's say you just right click on a pair and you go to add section. And as you can see, a section appeared there. I'm not going to do that because I already have it. So you can add a section. You can separate it however you want, right? Mine's separated by the major currency pairs. Then I have some cross pairs that I track for the Patreon members. And then commodities down here, including the S&P and US 30, Bitcoin, Ethereum. And then I have my stock section down here for stocks. And that's the way I like mine organized. You can do it, many different ways. You can have, you can have all your pairs, right? And then instead of having it labeled as majors, you can have it as, I don't know, looking for confirmation or something like that. So you can organize this any way you like. This is what suits my strategy. The next thing I do is I use these color codes. Pretty much the only color I use is red. And when I label something as red, it means to me that my 4-hour and my 1-hour are both trending in the same direction, which in that case, I will then look for 15-minute set and forget trades, trading with the trend. So that's what I use the color code for, but you can use different things. I used to use purple, which means, let's just say, for example, right now, Euro USD is in 4-hour supply. So you can come over to Euro USD, you can mark it as purple or whatever color you want that indicates that you will be looking for confirmation. So that's a very simple way to stay organized, keep everything clean. And like I said, just experiment with this. I've changed it many times. Experiment with it. See what works for you for color coding and what works with your strategy. Let's see here. That pretty much wraps up for the watch list. Oh, the only indicator I use is the 50% candle. And you can see it right here. The 50% candles are the ones that have the dots in the middle. As you can see here, it's a black dot. They're all over the place. And what that does is it essentially helps me, find basing where I can draw my zone. That's pretty much all it's used for. I'll go over here. So you type in indicator. It's by Dutch Investor. And we can go over my settings really quick with that. Let's take a look here. So style, I don't know what that means, but that's clicked. I have it as black. You can change what you want in here. Mine's just a dot. I think you can put any symbol in there or a number. Absolute, not really sure what that means, but you can just copy my settings, and that's the only indicator I use. And you can use different indicators, but that's the only one I use. I trade purely supply and demand. Next, the magnet tool. If you look over here, let me just highlight it for you guys. If you look over here, we have the magnet tool, and as you can tell, it's not clicked for me. And the reason it's not clicked, if you don't know what this is, let me just click on this magnet tool right now. And you can do a weak magnet or a strong magnet. And then when you go to draw a zone, I don't know if you can tell, but it's locking on to the low of price like that. It's locking on like this. So if you zoom in, this zone is exactly marked up at the low of that candle because the magnet tool is on. Where if you had it off and you went to just go mark it, you can get it pretty close, but as you can see, it pierces through, and you want to have the exact price. So the reason I have mine turned off is because if you look over here right now, just watch this area right here, this magnet tool. You'll see it hop on and off. Okay, it's not working right now. Let me just click a tool. Okay, see it come on and off, and that's because I'm pressing. It's next to my control button on my keyboard. It's like a Windows button. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But it's just a button where then when I hold that, it can lock on like this, and then I can easily let go to draw the distal line or whatever line you want. So that's what I do when I'm drawing. I'll lock it on by holding the button instead of having it on the whole time, because sometimes it is a pain in the ass having it locked on like that, pardon my language. Sometimes it's a pain having it lock onto everything, so that's why I just would rather have the button available to click that, and that's a very important setting to have on, especially for supply and demand. Next, up here on the top left, you can see all the time frames that I look at here. And what you can do is you can just come in here and you can set all your favorites, right? You can just press the star and that's your favorite. That's the main ones. I mostly look at the weekly, 4-hour, daily, and 1 hour. But when I want to trade the 15-minute, right, or say you want to trade the 5 minute, then I can quickly come over here. Instead of opening this up and clicking the 5 minute, I already have it saved. So I can just click the 5 minute, 15 minute, and I highly recommend just picking the time frames that you trade on a regular basis that aren't in your layout, that you can just quickly switch. And it's just a little tip for you guys that, you know, it's nothing crazy, but it is definitely saves you time. I know guys that are like great traders on YouTube and they don't even have their favorites there. I really don't know why. And then the last one that I have for you guys is this array tool. There's many ways to draw your zones. Like I know a lot of guys will use this, where is it? Horizontal ray like this. Oops. Something like that. That's how they draw their zones, and that's completely fine. But if you look here, it might be hard to tell. You can see all of these dotted lines, and what that is since I only have a 4 chart layout on my highest time frame on my top left is the weekly, I will then have the rays used for marking the monthly. So I'll come over to the monthly, and as you can see right here, you might not be able to tell. It's probably pretty difficult to see, but there is a monthly supply zone here. You can see my horizontal rays with the dotted lines, and if you click here, you can add a template, and I can have monthly zone, and that's what I use for that. And then also I use the horizontal line like this for my targets, and that's more for the YouTube videos. I don't necessarily always target the targets. I mostly just look for 3-to-1s and get rid of it there. But that's pretty much wraps everything up. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments down below, and I can get back to you if I miss anything. There's probably a chance I missed something. I just wanted to make this video. Somebody requested it for me, so I decided to do it. And like I said, if I miss anything, let me know. And if you guys want all of my chart analysis on the daily basis, definitely check out the Patreon or become a YouTube member and join the team. You can definitely use my zones. Helps with your trading a lot. And hopefully you guys like this video. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Let me know what you thought of the video. Take care. Have a great weekend.